റമദാൻ ഖുർആൻ്റെ മാസമാണ്. നമ്മൾ ഖുർആൻ തിലാവത്ത് ചെയ്യണം, ഖുർആൻ്റെ അർത്ഥം നമ്മൾ പഠിക്കണം, ഖുർആൻ്റെ തിലാവത്ത് നമ്മൾ കേൾക്കണം. ബ്യൂട്ടിഫുൾ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ആണ് ഖുർആൻ്റെ തിലാവത്ത് നമ്മൾ കേൾക്കണം. ഞാൻ നമ്മളെ അടുത്തുള്ള പള്ളിയിൽ ഒരു സജഷൻ വെച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടായി. നമ്മൾ ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരു നമസ്കാരത്തിന് ശേഷം, ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരു വക്തിന് ശേഷം നമ്മൾ കുറച്ച് നേരം ഒരു 5 മിനിറ്റ് എല്ലാവരും വളരെ ശാന്തതയോടെ ഇരുന്ന് നമ്മൾ ഖുർആൻ കേൾക്കണം. നമ്മൾ ഓഡിയോ സിസ്റ്റത്തിലേക്ക് നമ്മൾ ഏതെങ്കിലും എല്ലാവരും കൂടി തീരുമാനിച്ചിട്ട് ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരു കാരി അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ഓത്ത് നമ്മളുടെ പള്ളീൻ്റെ ഉള്ളിൽ നമ്മൾ വെച്ച് നമ്മൾ ഓഡിയോ സിസ്റ്റത്തിലേക്ക് ഇട്ടിട്ട് നമ്മൾ കേൾക്കണം. ഒരു ബ്യൂട്ടിഫുൾ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസാണ്. നമ്മളിന്ന് പലവരും എന്തെങ്കിലും വിഷമങ്ങളൊക്കെ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ നമ്മൾ പാട്ടിലേക്ക് തിരിയണത്, നമ്മൾ ഖുർആനിലേക്ക് തിരിയണം. അള്ളാഹു സുബ്ഹാനഹു വ തആല സൂറത്തുൽ അറാഫിൽ പറയുന്നുണ്ട്, 204-ാമത്തെ ആയത്തിൽ അള്ളാഹു പറയുന്നതാണ്, അഊദു ബില്ലാഹി മിനശ് ശൈത്വാനിർ റജീം وَإِذَا قُرِئَ الْقُرْآنُ فَاسْتَمِعُوا لَهُ وَأَنصِتُوا لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ. When the Quran is recited, then listen to it and pay attention that you may receive mercy. അള്ളാഹു പറയുകയാണ്, ഖുർആൻ പാരായണം ചെയ്യപ്പെട്ടാൽ നിങ്ങൾ ശ്രദ്ധിച്ച് കേൾക്കുകയും നിശബ്ദത പാലിക്കുകയും ചെയ്യുക, നിങ്ങൾക്ക് കാരുണ്യം ലഭിച്ചേക്കാം. നമ്മൾ ഡേ ടു ഡേ ബേസിസിൽ ഖുർആൻ്റെ പാരായണം നമ്മൾ കുറച്ച് നേരം, അഥവാ നമ്മളെ പള്ളിയിൽ അങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു സിസ്റ്റം ഇല്ലയെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അൽഹംദുലില്ലാഹ് നമ്മൾക്ക് മൊബൈൽ ഫോൺസ് ഉണ്ട്. നമ്മൾ വീട്ടിൽ തന്നെ കുറച്ച് നേരം ഒരു ടൈം ഫിക്സ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് നമ്മൾ ഉറങ്ങുന്നതിന് മുമ്പോ ഒരു 10 അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു 5 മിനിറ്റ് ഖുർആൻ്റെ പാരായണം നമ്മൾ കേൾക്കണം. കുറച്ച് നാൾ മുമ്പ് ഞാനൊരു പരിപാടിക്ക് പങ്കെടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ടായി, ഒരു സ്റ്റോറി ടെല്ലിംഗ് ഇവൻറ്റ്. ഈ ഇവൻറ്റിൽ പല ആൾക്കാരും അവരുടെ ജീവിതത്തിലെ ചില അനുഭവങ്ങൾ ഷെയർ ചെയ്തു. ഞാനും എൻ്റെ ജീവിതത്തിൻ്റെ ഒരു എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ്, ഒരു സംഭവം ഞാനും ഷെയർ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടായി. ആ ഒരു എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ഖുർആൻ്റെ പാരായണമായിട്ട് ബന്ധമുണ്ട്. അപ്പം ഇന്നത്തെ ഈ വീഡിയോയിൽ നമുക്ക് ആ വീഡിയോ ഒന്ന് കണ്ടു നോക്കാം. ഞാൻ ആ സ്റ്റോറി അവതരിക്കുന്ന വീഡിയോ ഒന്ന് കണ്ടു നോക്കാം. അത് ഇംഗ്ലീഷിലാണ്. അപ്പം നമുക്കൊന്ന് കാണാം. ഓക്കെ, റെഡി, സ്റ്റാർട്ട്.
Unable to share an experience of mine. This was a very personal story for me. Actually, I have written that as an article and shared around 1 year before. This story is regarding a person, one of my uncle, and I don't know his name. People call him Amuka, so I also call him Amuka. Amuka was like he was a very humble man, quiet, faced a lot of hardship, financially, emotionally. He did a lot of sacrifice to upbring his children, and they were caring till the end. Sometimes I remember him riding the bicycle slowly, smoothly, because he's a kind of introvert, his own world of thoughts. He used to wear white shirt and white dhoti. And I read his story time and again to bring the reality on to me. Sometimes, we check, focus goes off. I just try to read this story and reality comes back to me. Once he attended a marriage function and he felt a kind of nausea feeling and he vomited. Nothing serious, the family went back home. A few days later, he experienced a tired feeling, a lot of exhaustion. He complained to his sons and they took him to the hospital and he was diagnosed with 4th stage cancer. And the doctor said he has very limited number of days to live and you can do nothing about it. So I heard this news and the thing was that before all this happened, let me take you back. Once, along with some of my brothers, I went to this Amuka's house and he came out. He stood in veranda, the front veranda, and one of my brother, he was speaking to him, reality of life, what should be our purpose in life, and Amuka was just staring at him. So this one of my brother was speaking to him, And Amuka was just staring at this person, listening attentively, whatever his all ears could grasp. So I was looking at Amuka, okay, and I was just wondering, the kind of sacrifices he went through. How it's weird, but how long he's gonna live. I'm just, some thought came to my mind. So when I heard this news, this was already there in my memory. I went to his house, and when he was diagnosed with, months later, he was diagnosed with cancer. The family didn't inform him, and neither his wife. So when I went to his house, he was not there. He was taken for some small homeopathy, treatment, homeopathy treatment. So I spoke with his family, and the wife very recently came to know the situation of her spouse. And she was a very strong woman, a lot of patience with the degree of God that has happened to him. So I told that, according to our belief, we have a next life. So I told that the only thing we can do is that boost him spiritually, because he was fine. People were coming to his house, they were shaking hands with him. He just, greetings, courtesy talks, and remain silent and just listen to people's conversation that happens. So I told them that it's better that we do spiritually, so that he have a good ending from this world. That's all we can do now. So they said they are doing that. Once in a while when they gather, everybody recites some part of the scripture. So he also recites. When everybody is reciting, you also recite. Because you cannot say that you're gonna die now, so recite. That's not possible. So that day I couldn't meet him. So I was, very busy with my business activities, a lot of traveling I used to do. So his health was deteriorating day by day. So I had a guilty feeling that ever since he was diagnosed with cancer, I was not able to meet him. And another uncle of mine, a few months back, has passed away, and I just was keep on postponing that I will meet the next day, and all of a sudden he died. Then only I could meet him. So I was having this guilty feeling, and few days later I heard that he was admitted to the hospital. His situation is very critical. So I took the firm decision that before I plan for my next business trip, I will meet him. And I took my grandmother, we went to the hospital, and we went to his room. And I remember that when I entered the room, I saw Amuka unconscious. And his wife and daughter, they were just hopelessly watching him taking every breath with great difficulty. So I greeted them, I went to Amuka, and I saw him that his hands were tied to the bed, and there was tube inserted to his nose, and he was silent for some time. After that, he used just shake a lot, whatever muscle that was remaining for him. And I just stood near the bed, and I just recited slowly a few things from the scripture, and I blew it on him. And I had a conversation with the daughter and the mother. So they said they were like pale, stressed out, because being awake the whole night yesterday and fearing when the soul will depart. Because they told that yesterday, the last night, it was very difficult for him to breathe. He was gasping for breath, and they thought he won't see that next day. Morning it was calm, and so the conversation was happening, and I was just thinking, but Amuka would be able to listen. Obviously, he was in an unconscious state. But I had this fear because, we speak, everything is gone. Anytime it can happen, So if he is able to listen, imagine some, people are talking that anytime he can pass away. The doctors have given all hope. They told them to take him back to home. Anyway, I thought of leaving. Then his son came, so I told him the same advice, that do something spiritually. This is the only thing we can do. We can't do anything more. And he also agreed, and after that, I was about to leave. So again, I went to his bed, and his daughter, somehow, they didn't have any hope. She called, in Muslim we call wapa. Wapa, wapa. And he just opened his eyes for some time and it's closed. So I realized that he can listen. Then, it was a very interesting scene for me because normally daughters, their hero is many times their father. So that loving sound, with that loving sound, she asked, Papa, are you experiencing pain? And obviously he's experiencing. But you know what? That father was a real hero. Considering the daughter's emotion, he just gently closed his eyes, indicating he's not. Obviously he's experiencing pain. So I was I told myself that why don't I recite some portion of our scripture, the Quran, so that it might have a bit of relaxation for him through the melody of the Quran. Then I got shy, in reciting in front of everybody. Then my inner voice came that, are you giving more preference to your shyness than the man's condition? And I said, let me. And for me, this was the big point. He's from our belief that he's going through a spiritual journey. From our belief that the angels would be coming to him, their conversation might be happening, his soul is going to be taken. So it's a kind of spiritual. And I'm going to do a spiritual recitation. So I was fearing, while I am reciting, what if it passes away? I will just freak out. A lot of fear was there. Then, while I was reciting, a part of the scripture came to my mind. And I thought that I will recite that in a way that, I felt that actually I'm communicating to him. So I just want to, just to give us a bit of idea what that was, I'll just recite that portion, so you can get an idea of what I was trying to communicate. So the verse goes, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا رَبُّنَا اللَّهُ ثُمَّ اسْتَقَامُوا تَتَنَزَّلُ عَلَيْهِمُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ أَلَّا تَخَافُوا وَلَا تَحْزَنُوا وَأَبْشِرُوا بِالْجَنَّةِ الَّتِي كُنتُمْ تُوعَدُونَ نحن أولياؤكم في الحياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة ولكم فيها ما تشتهي أنفسكم ولكم فيها ما تدعون نزلا من غفور رحيم. So, what I was trying to tell him is that, the verse meaning is that those who say, their Lord is Allah and they are consistent in their living, when the angel of death comes to them, the scripture says that they will say, do not worry, do not grieve. They will give you the glad tidings of paradise which you were promised. And they will say that, don't worry, we were your allies in this world, and we are going to be there in the hereafter. And there you will desire, you will get whatever you desire, you will get whatever you request for. This is a gift for you from the Lord, most forgiving and most merciful. So this was I am trying to tell him through this verse. And I recited, and I was about to leave. So I saw small touching. So his hand, though it was tight, he was doing like this. So I understood he was searching for my hand. So what I did, I took my both hands and I put my right hand on his top and his hand relaxed. That time, I realized that this is my last handshake with him. I'm not going to see him alive in this world, maybe in the hereafter. Because, this kind of, for example, you all came to SWS event. So you said your father, mother, yeah, I'm going. They said, okay, goodbye, take care. They know that after 3-4 hours you will return back. So that's the emotion is less. Sometimes you're going abroad, maybe for 1 year, 2 years. The emotion is high because of 1-2. For me, this is like eternal. This separation. Anyway, a few days back he passed away. I went to saw him. That time it was really raining. We have our normal prayers after the sunset. So after sunset, the body was brought to the masjid. We did our daily prayers. After that, the body was kept in the front. Everybody stands, and the leader, he was talking about the reality of death. We were just reflecting on our life. The man in front, wrapped in cloth, no more. And the special prayer is there, for that person. So that was there. Sobering sounds were heard, cheerful salams were given, and everybody rushed to the graveyard. So it's a 6 feet pit. So everybody wants to be in the first because we can see the whole ritual, the loved ones, and it was raining also. Anyway, at that time it was not raining, but we had the fear, what if the water goes inside? So even I was in the front and I was looking, where this man is going to be turned. And the body was taken from the casket, tossed to different hands, and his son, everybody was putting the body in the ground. So I was like reflecting on my life, his life, and being careful that the grave nearby, I don't stand on the grave nearby. And the old man chants, oh Lord, forgive him, have mercy on him, make him firm. Allahumma alhimhu jawab, make his answering when the angels question him, make him easy to answer, make him firm in his ground so that he can answer the angels. And I was like reflecting that moment, that the man who when we spoke, he was listening to our conversation. The man who people never had any fear. The man who listened to my recitation and he offered his last handshake with me has returned to what he has been promised. I continued my worldly life. He was continuing his life in the hereafter, and he saw what he has been promised. I'm waiting for mine. And I just keep on reading this story. For me, no matter what we do, end of the day, the destiny is that. Thank you, everyone.